Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret Raccoon podcast, episode 66. I am Ace.
And I'm the Angry Raccoon.
And it's another hot day, because London just likes to be hot at the moment.
For the first time in a good couple years that it's actually been consistent and hot.
Yeah.
I think we may have mentioned this back on a podcast 65 and how it never gets hot here, but yeah, it's staying that way for the most part, which is weird.
It's evil. I hate it. I feel like the world's against me.
I've somewhat enjoyed it a little bit more because I haven't been out in it as much.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty nice, but as of right now when we're recording, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's getting grey, and
exactly.
It's probably going to rain, because one thing I think English people forget about heat is that when it gets hot, immediately after it rains.
Yeah. It's great, and I love the rain. So I'm happy.
So get ready for that, guys.
Yeah.
I think before we kind of get this podcast started and kind of get into what we've been up to and all that, I think we've got two things to mention. First, we're recording in our slightly better maybe area for the most part because we've got a free area. So if it sounds different, that's awesome. If it sounds bad, that's not so great, but do let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll try and make sure it always sounds like this. And also we have a dog within the vicinity who might bark at some point, because that's just how he is.
Yeah, if he suddenly makes a barking noise and run off, then sorry, but we can't really do much about it.
That's just his nature for the most part, but he's sleeping now.
Yeah.
So hopefully you won't hear of him. But yeah, busy week for the most part. Not in terms of news, because if you've already looked in the description and obviously downloaded this podcast, not much really happened.
No, very little has happened recently. It's mostly just been doing our own stuff.
Yes. Ironically, we've done more than there has been presented in terms of news over the last fortnight. So
yeah.
Shall we get to that stuff, I think?
Definitely.
Ace, what have you been up to in terms of life?
Mostly it's actually just been very normal stuff for me. There hasn't been anything super exciting or anything planned. Mm-hmm. So just been watching, playing stuff. And one that I have to mention is Netflix's Castlevania series.
Oh yes, this one is definitely making its rounds around the internet, as I've seen.
Yeah, so it's a 4-episode series, and as soon as it popped out, they instantly said it's getting a season 2 of 8 episodes, somehow.
It's very Disney-like.
Yeah, which is weird. But the series, I think it's a comedy. I don't know if it's intentionally a comedy, but it feels like one to me.
Is it doing well at its unintentional comedy for the most part?
As in, I'm consistently laughing? Yes.
Enjoyable?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Literally, I'm just going to do a small breakdown to kind of help let people understand.
No spoilers, please.
Yeah, so the first episode is literally all about Dracula. And the first thing we see of Trevor Belmont, the main character, is right at the end of the episode when a bunch of bar people are all bad-mouthing the Belmonts, and he just drinks his beer and says shit, and how it's voiced is so funny that it has to be a comedy. I honestly can't see it any other way.
I've been trying to avoid it as much as possible, because I am going to give it a watch at some point. And people seem to be really enjoying it. And
really?
Yes, people are enjoying it. I mean, one thing I'm not going to take away the series, the animation is pretty damn good.
From what I've seen, I can't stand it.
I think it is.
I found it really nothing to me.
I mean, in terms of other things, I think for what it's going for, I think it is good.
Okay.
From what I've seen. And people are enjoying it for the most part.
I'm so surprised and confused. My brother honestly did not want to watch the rest of it. I watched the other 3 episodes on my own, and I kind of got drunk to enjoy them more. I don't get how people like this show. And, okay, another bit, right? This is supposed to be a very dramatic scene of, it's the first episode, so it's not really spoiler, the town being attacked by demons and monsters. And one demon, runs up to 2 people and smashes, one into the wall, and then grabs the other and smashes it again, but it's from such a wide angle, it comes off as a joke. It just constantly comes off as a parody or an unintentional comedy, and I can't see it as any other way.
That's a little hard for me to imagine, but I can kind of understand where you might be coming from.
Yeah, and then the quote I sent to you.
Yeah.
Trevor Belmont in a bar fight with a bunch of people, and one of them kind of like treads on his like testicles, and he says, "Leave my testicles alone." Now, when that gets said in Castlevania, you can't really take it seriously.
Yeah, I was. And that's one thing people have latched on and kind of like, what? Because that's one thing people aren't really sure. What to think about, because it's kind of, even out of context, it's very much like, what?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe whoever's in charge of this series wants to take Castlevania in a very different direction.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And I checked some of the people behind it. The writer is the writer for Transmetropolitan, like the comic book.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm very confused. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really add up at all, unless like there was studio interference, or it's a pay job for him. I don't know.
If you've read that comic, it kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
He kind of does what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So it's probably he's probably just doing whatever.
Yeah.
Probably maybe doesn't really care or know that much about the source material, and he's making a series, and he's got a second season, and he's just going to keep doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Castlevania got very confused after the I forget what the last 3DS game on it. The series got extremely confused because you got the ones on PS3, which were not Castlevania games.
The Lords of Shadow, the God of War games.
Yes, they were not Castlevania games, and fortunately, Castlevania kind of just died out. I mean, there might be a few good ones, maybe. I don't know if there's one on the 3DS or more on the DS that I'm forgetting. But
I think my brother has one on the 3DS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I think there was one, but I didn't really care about that one for the most part because it didn't look too great. I'm very particular with games that are going for that kind of time period. Yeah. For the most part, but. Yeah, things have been a rough case. I think it's maybe just Netflix testing the ground for an actual film. Possibly. Because Castlevania is a big name in gaming fans because it's one of those games that gamers know about and they've never played. So it'd be perfect for a film. Yeah. Simply put, and as much as I'm sure people might scream at that, it's true. Yeah.
But, yeah, I found it to be a joke. So I honestly wouldn't recommend people watch it unless they have the same laughter kind of thing I have, like
mentality.
If you found Gravity funny like I did, then you'll find this funny too.
No, let's not even bring up Gravity.
I can't time.
Let's not bring it up because no, let's not.
So far this is my favourite comedy series of 2017.
Oh no.
The other thing I want to talk about, which I haven't finished yet but I've got very little left, is Bloodborne.
Oh yes.
So Bloodborne,
the real Castlevania.
Yeah, exactly. The real new Castlevania. It doesn't need too much of an introduction. It's the latest in the Soulsborne series, hence why it's portmanteaued into Soulsborne now.
Yeah. It's very much like Dark Souls, as you compare, as you could be compared to.
Yeah, like very a lot of modern games.
A lot of modern games very much like Dark Souls.
Yeah. You know, Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
But,
it's DLC.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Crash Bandicoot. It's got the same ring. But, I had a lot of fun with this game so far. I've completed all the main stuff until the last boss, and I've completed all the DLC. I only have the Chalice dungeons and the final boss left.
You've been telling me about your progress.
Yeah, I have. I found quite a lot of it quite easy, and then I got to one boss, and I was having so much fun fighting them. It was like I died 5 times battling them before I won, and it was some of the best moments in gaming I've ever had.
Wow.
And I'm going to describe why, but also say why I didn't enjoy another boss as much. So one of the first bosses you fight, like mandatory, if you lose to him, you've got to go all the way back to the start level and then make your way all the way back to challenge him. So by that time, you might have lost a whole bunch of stuff. With this other boss, the lamp where you respawn from is right outside the boss room.
Yeah.
So you can just go back straight in and challenge again.
Because it's the final challenge, it's the final boss. This is the end.
Yeah. Well,
you've done the hard part.
Yeah. There was another boss after, and I beat them in one go, but that was surprising. But this one everyone has a problem with, and the fight was amazing. Just learning all the moves, all the dodges, all the timings, it was great, and I want more like that. And I just want to say, and this is another bit, with all the other bosses in the main game, I read a lot of people having problems with them. It's like dying 20 times and I beat them in one. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if I was more skilled, or if I was more leveled, or they were under-leveled, or...
Because I theorised that you've played every Souls game up to this one, correct?
I haven't completed all the others, though. I've still got Dark Souls 2 and 3 to complete.
And I was thinking it was just a matter of just being well-versed with how these games play. I mean, I have a few friends of this podcast who are very much the same.
Yeah.
They still find it a challenge. I'm not sure whether they would say Bloodborne is easy, but they are breezing for it, but really enjoying it, much like you. I think it's the case of we possibly have people who have played Dark Souls who jumped onto Bloodborne because, hey, there's nothing on the PS4 to play, and are kind of going, this is really hard. I have no patience for this.
Yeah, and I don't get that mentality because...
It's not the kind of mentality you would go in playing a series which is proclaimed to be very hard when it's not that hard.
No, it's more just about learning.
Yes.
And that's why I think the best experiences are when you learn something and you only lose a little health from it. When you get killed for a loss and you didn't see anything else, then that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Which Bloodborne didn't have too many of those moments. It had maybe like 2 or 3, which I'd say were bullshit, but that's a completely different discussion.
Bloodborne is a very solid game. Just to kind of throw my 2-piece in with like a lot of fantastic design.
Yes.
And it's quite shocking that a Japanese studio knows more about English Gothic horror than I think most Gothic horror writers and anyone who works in England knows. And it's like kind of like, oh, that's really bad.
Yeah, better than a lot of modern stuff.
Yes, big time.
The weirdest thing, the only thing I'd even say that comes somewhat close, and it's weird because it makes no sense. I'm the pretty thing in the house.
Yeah.
That's pure Gothic.
Yeah, it is Gothic horror.
And it's amazing. Like, they're 2 very different things, and they both do it great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that's my recommendation. Play Bloodborne, watch I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. Yeah. That's basically it.
One is a harder sell than the other.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Bloodborne.
Oh god. Yeah, there's a little discussion right there. Well, we like to always have these kinds of discussions. I managed to get a lot of things watched and done over the last fortnight because I am working on a fairly big project which is coming to its end as of this podcast's upload. So I'll be back to possibly doing some more things. I got tons of things lined up.
Yeah.
But the few things I wanted to kind of chat about and talk about, I'm going to go super quick with this, is changes to the YouTube channel for the most part. Now, obviously, YouTube is in a really bad position right now where they are just trying to alienate everyone.
Yeah, it's quite dire.
Simply put. And much like myself, I've been forced to essentially revise the way this channel works. I've lost quite a few videos of recently. We lost the Goosebumps audio commentary videos we did, but you'll be seeing those again someday, hint hint. And I also lost my Barnicula quick review.
Yeah.
They blocked it worldwide.
That's ridiculous.
So I had to essentially file a complaint against that. So we'll see later on. I know I'm in the right because you don't take someone... I'm not even going to go into it because it's all boring stuff. Your favourite YouTubers already talked about how rubbish it is. So I'm going to be essentially... There's not going to be a lot of videos for a while because, like I said, this big project has kept me busy. And also I've kind of just tried to figure out what kind of works best for this channel. So if you see things just not continuing or coming back or whatever, just know that I'm working on things.
Yeah.
It's only one person managing this kind of stuff. But other than that, I did manage to watch quite a few films over the last fortnight. The first one, I'm going to get through these 2 because they've already kind of been talked about. So the first one is going to be leading off podcast 65, Kamikaze Girls, which is a film that Ace recommended on our discussion, recommending underrated films. Boy, this film is weird.
It's great, isn't it?
It's really good. It's as if... It's like some weird surrealist film, almost as if like Stephen Chow and Quentin Tarantino wanted to direct a Japanese film about fashion.
Yeah.
And that should be on the box. I'm surprised it's not. But it's a really fun film that is very colourful and very immersed in like Japanese culture in a really good way. It's kind of got everything. It's got something for everyone in this film.
Yeah.
Along with being a very solid film. Ace has already kind of talked about a lot of the other highlights of in this film, so you probably already know, or go listen to the previous podcast to find out a little bit more. Just watch the film.
Yeah, it's really cheap on Blu-ray on Amazon. You can get from there.
Exactly. The next film I wanted to talk about when I saw in the cinema was Baby Driver.
Yes.
Finally it's out. Finally got to see it. It took me a long time to see this film, unfortunately.
Really?
Because people were like, let's go see it, and then it didn't kind of work out.
Oh, yeah, I kind of remember you saying.
I ended up seeing it with my mum, who loved it.
Yeah.
She usually falls asleep during films, but she actually stayed awake for the whole of it.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal for the most part. But we've already talked about it on our review and discussion, so you can listen to that. We're not going to say too much about it other than definitely go see it. I mean, what else are you going to see right now? Because there's nothing.
Yeah, there might be one thing I'd recommend, but that's me.
Maybe one thing, but that's about it.
Yeah.
There's
everything else is garbage.
Everything else you could probably just ignore for the most part. Next, let's see. Let me check my notes. I watched the film. Finally got around to seeing the... I forget the director's name. But finally got around to seeing Bronson.
Oh, yeah. Nicholas Winding Refn.
This Nicholas Winding Refn, directed with Tom Hardy starring as Charlie Bronson.
I still need to see this film.
I have it.
I need to borrow it from you.
You need to watch it, yeah, because it's really good. One of the funny things about the film is that DC tried and failed to rip this film off so bloody hard.
With what?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
They tried to rip... Yeah.
Alright. That makes sense.
All intents and purposes, it's what they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
And failed miserably. But Bronson is really good. For anyone who doesn't know, Charlie Bronson is, in English history, is regarded as one of the most dangerous prisoners of all time.
Yeah.
And it's essentially almost like a character piece on said character, but it's done coming from his perspective on how he sees his legacy in some kind of sense. And I will use the word legacy is the correct word, and how he would probably describe what has happened to him. But it's a really great film. I'm not sure if it's an issue with my TV, the Blu-ray, but it's not quite clear. It looks like it was kind of filmed on a very low-key camera, despite the fact cinematography and lighting being fantastic. Noise, I'm not sure if it was added in or it was filmed with noise, but it was... if you're watching this on a big TV, it might be irritating, but luckily the film is strong enough to get past that. That's the only issue I would say is with it. Another film I watched, which is just clear as crystal, thanks to its 10-year anniversary restoration, and that is Fight Club.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Woo.
It's still a classic to this day.
Keep the lights off while watching that film. Boy, that is a classic.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed this film, and thoroughly, I'm surprised no one really references it other than the main quote.
Yeah.
Not sure what that's about.
Well, there's one line I reference all the time, when I talk to people, I haven't been fucked this hard since grade school. Got to quote that all the time.
Maybe not in front of the kids, but I know what you mean. But yeah, it's really strong film. It's taken me way too long to finally watch this film, but I got the, like I said, 10-year anniversary edition. So surprised to see how well the film is still holding up, even with its use of like special effects and use of its like pacing and how it's going by, and the fact that it's also one of those films that no one tried to make another one like it. Yeah. It's definitely a film of its time, and it's definitely going to age very, very well, which is good to see. Let's breeze through these next two real quick because they are animes, because I'm kind of doing a bit of an anime catch-up. The first one is going to be Kemono Friends, which is a very bizarre anime about... I always forget it's a girl, but it's a girl waking up in this abandoned amusement park where every animal is now an anthropomorphic girl wearing clothes that are the pattern of said animal they're meant to be, and it's about her essentially trying to figure out what species she is. Yeah. The animation, which you might have seen if you are a little bit more versed in what's current in anime, is pretty bad for the most part. It's 3D and it's very robotic.
Like, it's janky, but there is a charm to it.
There is a charm because unintentionally some comedy comes from it. Yeah.
But unlike Berserk.
Unlike Berserk, where you kind of just want to turn it off as soon as you see it. or read the manga.
Especially when he's just walking towards the screen.
That's not even going to that clip, man.
I love it so much.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to imagine that right now.
I wish like you could get moving pictures that you can put on your wall, because I would have that constantly.
Berserk has some issues. Berserk 2016 and 17, we must clarify.
Yeah.
But it's funny enough, it's definitely a hidden gem anime where the rest of the whole series is actually really good.
Yeah.
Like, took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be okay, but it's actually pretty good. It's all about, like, friendship and all these other kinds of nice things. It's definitely more for a slightly younger audience, but that shouldn't deter anyone who is slightly older from watching, because it is a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. You're there for the characters. You're there for each episode going, what friend are we going to meet? They're not referred to as just animals. They're referred to as friends.
That's sweet.
Yeah, they're all friends. Instead of, which is a nice thing. You know, literally when, like, two main characters, there's a friend over there. Stuff like that is nice.
Yeah.
And the final thing I want to talk about is, I'm not sure how I want to say it, but I'm going to say it really fast. Konosuba, which season 1 and 2, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know how I managed to miss this from last year. I don't know what happened.
I think, like, when I was telling you about, like, I was really enjoying it, and I was
Did I
confused.
say fuck that shit? Was that what happened?
No, like, I was confused. I think you hadn't heard of it. I was like, what?
I don't know what happened.
Because it flew under the radar in some cases.
For me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not that I'm going to try and stand here and claim, I know all anime, but...
You do. You're an anime god.
Maybe in the context of just this podcast. But yeah, I don't know how I missed it. I mean, granted, it was early in 2016, and early 2016 was pretty rough. But, it's acting as if it's like bad. No, really strong series. Very overhyped. I am going to say that.
Yeah, I've heard.
Extremely overhyped. But don't let it deter you from the fact that this is a very good series. For the most part, it's pretty funny. It's although it's kind of base plotting, kind of being a character trapped in a fantasy possible game environment, kind of trying to take out the main villain. It may sound generic, but as the series kind of goes on, you kind of understand that that's not the point of the series. The point of the series is the characters and their interactions, which are... I'm not going to spoil the characters because you've probably seen them and you probably know something about them. I'm not going to spoil anything further. It's just a series that I think any anime fan looking for a good laugh should go into completely clueless for the most part. But yeah, highly recommend everything I've just talked about. Busy week. I've got so many things planned for the next 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But now we got to move on to the tiny section of this podcast.
The news.
The news. Oh, the boring,
in quote marks.
The boring part.
So recently there was the trailer for my highly anticipated Marvel's Inhumans TV show. And
can you feel the hype, guys, in the room? Can you feel the energy?
The electricity is flowing at the mention of Inhumans.
I can't wait.
It was exactly as I thought it could be.
Shit.
The only things that stand out is I always forget how to pronounce his name. Iwan Rion or Ian Rion. He's great because he's always great.
Yes.
And Lockjaw looks like he's going to be a really fun CGI character.
Which is the dog, because he's not mentioned by name.
Yeah. So that's the only bits that look like they're going to be good. Medusa's hair still looks fucking terrible.
How did they mess that up?
The problem is, when that promo picture arrived, that was the biggest complaint they got. So they had time to fix it, but they didn't.
Yeah, let's give the character called Medusa straight hair.
And how brightly red and obviously a wig it is. It's horrible.
It's not great. And the thing is, you could have there's an anime series, the Monogatari series. There is a character that has snake-like hair that it could have worked, and they kept it short.
Yeah. You
could have just done that. You don't have to have her have the crazy hair that can move on its own. You could have literally just done that.
Yeah.
You know, okay. I'm going to use a quote from a friend of mine after seeing the promo picture and the trailer for Inhumans, and that quote simply goes, "So dead."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, does anyone really care about the Inhumans? Because I feel as though no one really does.
No, except for Marvel, because they're trying to push Inhumans over the X-Men because they don't have the X-Men show rights. and they're making the.
But
Inhumans.
I would debate even that, because the only parts of the Inhumans that people seem to like, being Black Bolt, he has his fans, and Lockjaw, who is never fucking seen with the Inhumans for the most part. He's off with other characters because I think Marvel realized he's a pretty funny character because he can talk then, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? Because I would like to know, is there anyone out there who likes the Inhumans, like is actually excited? Because I feel no one actually cares about this. I mean, seriously, if there anyone is, if you are listening, email us, raccoonplus@gmail.com, and comment in this podcast, and that, like, I would like to know if someone actually cares, because I feel as though this is already a loss.
Yeah, and please let me know what the appeal of it is to you, because I don't understand the appeal of the Inhumans.
And that's the problem, even with this series where you could make the Inhumans a little bit more exciting, they don't.
Yeah, it looks really bland.
It looks really melodramatic, and it's like about family or something like that, and it's like, oh, we gotta not do this and all that, and also the fact that it's a portal story as well. We've got to go to Earth now, and also their world looks less interesting than Earth.
Well, they live on the moon,
but still, you could do so much with the moon. That's fantasy. That's classic.
They live on the blue side of the moon, or the blue area of the moon. I can't remember what it's called.
Dark side of the moon.
No, it's the blue something of the moon. I think it's called the blue side or blue area of the moon, but it's definitely the blue something.
Oh, someone couldn't get that copyright, I guess.
Yeah.
You could tell they wanted Dark Side of the Moon, but then Pink Floyd was like, no.
It's because they have the Terrigenesis mists, and it's like bluish, and so it makes it blue. And it's like, I don't give a shit.
No, we don't need this.
Yeah.
We don't need another alternate universe in the Marvel universe, especially one I don't care about.
Oh, this is in the same as the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. Because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has the Inhumans. One of the main characters is an Inhuman.
Who's still watching S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I watched it when Ghost Rider popped up, because
and then you stopped when he disappeared.
Yeah.
Simply put.
Yeah.
This trailer was just downright. It's hard to watch, and it's like a minute long.
I know.
And I was just like, wow, this is so dead.
Yeah. And that's... So far they've got me rooting for the bad guy, because the actor...
Who's the bad guy? I don't know. Who's the bad guy?
Ian Rion.
Is he the bad guy?
He's the bad guy.
I thought he was the good guy.
No, he's Black Bolt's like brother who wants to take over the throne. I can't remember.
I didn't gather that from the trailer. I just gathered it was family trash arguing.
Yeah.
I just assumed that what it was like. Oh no, John went down to Earth. We got to get him back. That's what I assumed season 1 was going to be, because they've already planned 5 seasons because Marvel knows it's going to be a hit.
I still remember when they were trying to sell this as a movie.
No, it wouldn't have worked. The Runaways is a stronger movie, and that unfortunately is a TV series, which I think could benefit it slightly better.
Yeah, it'd have a longer running time.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
I can't say I was disappointed by this trailer, because
I got exactly what I wanted and more.
Which was nothing.
Because I thought the Lockjaw CG was going to be worse.
It was alright.
Yeah, it's better than I thought.
His the little fork in his head isn't too prominent though.
No, I'm fine with that, because that's the bit I don't care too much about. It
doesn't need to be huge, but it's like, what differentiates that from a huge monster dog,
Because it has magic powers. It can teleport.
It's not that big from the biggest dog in the world, though. That's the problem.
But that species of dog.
I know.
I think they need to trade the Inhumans to DC. Trade the Inhumans for Booster Gold and Plastic Man.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, okay.
And then, but you keep Lockjaw. And then you make Lockjaw a mutant. That's Professor X's guard dog. There.
Jeez.
I'm done.
Oh, gosh.
How to improve Marvel in 3 simple steps.
And the problem is, DC's probably that stupid.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, Plastic Man, Booster Gold, what?
Get out of here. Get that rubbish out of here.
Yeah.
Useless characters. No one likes them. Everyone loves Joker.
And then you can have Booster Gold stealing Iron Man's armor from the future instead.
That'd be a great concept.
Exactly.
Because Booster Gold would do that.
Yeah, exactly. So he just travels back in time, basically uses Stark's tech to make money.
And then, plot twist, there was a third character Marvel acquired. Blue Beetle.
Yes.
And then Iron Man's like, what, you want to fight, kid?
Yep.
And then Blue Beetle's in Spider-Man Homecoming 5.
Yeah, that'd be great. He has his I forget what the beetle thing's called. Like his giant floating thing. I can remember the one from Watchmen based off it called Archie. I think it's called The Bug. I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah. That's my game plan, Marvel. Do it. It would work.
Hire me.
Exactly.
I got a better plan than
Paul
Feige's.
I got $1 million idea.
Here's what we do. We talk to DC. Oh, gosh.
We get some pictures of Spider-Man.
Jeez. Oh gosh, that's probably what Marvel said. Is that let's get some pictures, aka films of Spider-Man going.
Exactly.
You know, because everybody knows Sony's going to be rebooting Spider-Man in 3 years' time.
Spider-Man 4: The Quest for More Money.
No. It's going to be a reboot of Spider-Man.
Oh no, they'll still call it Spider-Man 4, but it'll be a new actor.
No.
Yeah.
They won't. No, they're going to reboot Spider-Man after they do their silly little Venom film. They're going to reboot Spider-Man.
But Venom's part of the MCU now. Yeah.
No. Do you think Sony gives a damn?
And the Silver Sable Black Cat film, that's part of the MCU.
Who's Silver Saber again?
Silver Sable is Spider-Man kind of villain / ally, who's kind of a mercenary. And her and Black Cat are kind of opposites in that way, like one's a thief, one's a merc.
Don't need a film. Moving on.
Yeah, okay.
Simply put. Oh yeah, get ready for that Black Cat film.
Yeah.
You mean Catwoman? No. Black Cat.
I doubt it'll have a cat licking someone's face though.
I doubt there'll even be a cat in the Black Cat film.
They don't need one. Just her, you know. She's catty enough.
Oh. No, it's trash. It's like everything the Inhumans and Sony is just trash to do with Marvel, simply put. It's just kind of like, hey guys, I know you got a lot of money, but you don't need to waste it.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. Speaking of wasted money, let's move on to the next trailer.
Oof, yeah, I think you've got this one.
So, although it was kind of known that they were going to be doing well, it's hard to say now because they originally said it was going to be a Jumanji reboot.
Yeah.
But now we've got the trailer for Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, copyright AC/DC. And
you mean Guns N' Roses?
Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
I always get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Because the only reason they called it Welcome to the Jungle was so they can have people go, Welcome to the Jungle!
Yeah, and put that in the damn trailer.
Exactly. And they're going to play every 5 minutes.
You know what the worst part is? There was like an early 2000s film starring The Rock and Sean William Scott called Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this the sequel to Welcome to the Jungle?
Possibly.
Or is it a reboot to that?
I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, Jumanji was a 90s film starring Robin Williams about like they go into the board game and they get trapped down and the board game comes to life.
Yeah.
Some fun stuff. Doesn't quite hold up in some aspects.
Yeah.
But I had no real strong nostalgic kind of feelings towards the film, so I didn't really give a damn because, I mean, Robin Williams is dead, so they're going to be remaking all his films, so not really a surprise, unfortunately. And I'm sorry if that sounds a bit blunt, but do you think Hollywood gives a shit? No.
Why do you think they're doing the Genie film?
Prequel film.
Yeah.
Yes. 3 of them.
Yeah.
Get it right.
The Genie trilogy.
Yes. I can't wait. And so this film is really, really confusing. That's the first thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what this film wants to be.
I feel like it wants to be a modern update. So, like, no one plays board games anymore. But
here's the thing. You've lost 80% of your audience.
I know.
Why call it Jumanji then?
Because it's a recognisable brand.
No child who's going to watch this film knows what Jumanji is.
Yeah.
What is the point? You might as well have just given it... you might as well just call it Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah. Which would be the second...
I mean, if you're going for nostalgia, you've failed because it's not a prequel, it's not a sequel, and it's not a reboot. It's an original, maybe, film taking the name. It's doing the dirtiest trick of them all. So fans have every right not to care and to hate this film.
Yeah.
Sony has already lost.
Yeah.
And you stuck it at Christmas time? Are you
did
high?
they?
Yes.
Wow, that's going to get murdered by The Last Jedi.
Possibly.
Wow.
I mean, I don't understand this whole film. Like, I mean, we can get the most obvious thing out of the way. This film looks like absolute trash.
Yeah.
Of course.
And it's going on the whole slapstick humour.
Yeah.
Which, I do have nostalgia to the original, but that one wasn't that slapstick.
No, it had a nice tone to it. There were funny moments to it, and it was rather scary for children at some points.
Yeah.
There's no frightening imagery in this film. It looks like an action film for adults.
Yeah.
And but it is a kids' film.
A hippo attacks.
Yeah, and it's like... This is where things start getting confusing, because it's like... First of all, having Dwayne Johnson in this film is already confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say he can't be in kids' films, because he has been in kids' films, and he's done a good job in those, but it's weird.
Yeah.
Because you have the two other actors in it, and I'm like, kids don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Kids don't care who that is.
Like, I think the most recognisable one for kids would be Karen Gillan if they watched Doctor Who, and that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who that is as a child, honestly.
Yeah.
But, it's weird, because you get to the end of the trailer, and it's just explosions and, like, chase scenes, and I'm like, I'm sure a child would enjoy that, but I don't think that's what you should be... It's weird, because I don't know if they're trying to make this film for everyone.
I think so.
And I think that's maybe their master plan, because at the end of the day, if you look at everything subjectively, the beginning only appeals to children. I don't think children will be able to relate to these video game characters, because they're video game characters. No one can relate to that. I can't relate to that. I would much rather them just be the kids in the roles.
Technically, they are the kids in the video game characters'
No,
bodies.
but visually, that would be far more interesting.
I agree.
As opposed to them just immediately being badasses who can do actiony things.
Yeah.
I mean, the scientist guy can't. I mean, is he going to be an action? Is he an action star now? Yes, he's a video game character, but that doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, he knows how to make explosions.
It's a mess. It really is.
I mean, and once again, it's lazy and, pretty dirty attempt to just modernize it and make it a video game.
Yeah.
Is really bizarre, because here's the thing. If they are even trying to appeal to younger audiences, why didn't they make an app?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
It's a glitch app. Yeah. Have you heard of Jumanji? Oh no, it sucked us into the game.
Yeah, or just give it, like, how
a mobile game. Kids
Jumanji
love mobile games.
And Zephora, why couldn't they just come up with a new name thing for it?
Yeah.
It's an app. And then maybe they can sneak in a subtle reference to Jumanji and Zephora somewhere, but that's
I really don't think Sony knows what the hell they're doing, because like I said, they've lost like 80% of their audience.
Yeah.
Because if you're going for nostalgia, you just have the name.
Yeah. And it looks atrocious to me, and
it looks shockingly bad.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just going to be a below average kind of film, but this looks awful.
Yeah.
Like, really bad. Like, they couldn't even piece together a decent trailer for it. It's almost as if Sony just kind of went, well, it's shit, but it'll make money.
Maybe they got the editors who edited Suicide Squad for the trailer.
Maybe they got the editors who edited the trailer for the Orient Express.
Oh, yeah.
Because, those guys know how to edit a trailer. Put some Imagine Dragons at the end with over explosions. Yeah, that'll work.
Just have all the characters looking at the screen.
While you hear Welcome to the New Age.
Oh, no. I liked that song when it came out. It's become shite. It's overplayed.
It's not great. I mean, I think the problem is this film could have worked.
Yeah.
The idea of having kids going into video game becoming these personas is it's not a half bad idea.
Yeah.
That could work somewhere, and that could work for some. They tried some comedy with that.
Yeah.
But what they should have done if they wanted to make it really funny is made one of the guys actually be the girl character. That would have been a little bit more hilarious. But instead you've got generic black. You have black guy and I'm a nerdy science guy.
Yeah. Well, doesn't a girl turn into a guy? Like, a girl goes into Jack Black's body.
I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you could have improved this film in so many levels and you decided not to.
I'm going to recommend people watch a film instead of this. Find I think it's a 90s film, it might be early 2000s, called Existenz. It's a lot better, and it kind of plays on the idea of people in a video game. It's a good film. Kind of body horror, so mature, like ages.
Cronenberg?
I can't remember if it is him. If it's not him, it's someone inspired by him.
Okay.
But there's a really great scene with a restaurant and a gun. I love that one.
Okay. Good stuff. So on to our next trailer, which suspiciously looks very promising, given the fact that all the odds are against it, and that's going to be the My Little Pony the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to be talking about this, despite the fact it should technically be My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the movie, because it already is a My Little Pony the movie.
Yeah, I remember my sister watched the original when I was younger.
That film got dark real quick.
I can't remember anything, I just remember she watched it.
But that film was great, because it's got like a actual like scary and really dark like villain in it.
Okay.
But yeah, so this was bound to happen given the simple popularity of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Yeah.
But I'm still surprised the film actually got a film. I mean, granted, it is Hasbro, and they want all of their games and their toys, yes, board games, to be films. And for the most part, the animation is looking okay. The original series, televised series, is in Flash, for anyone who didn't know. So it's looking a lot more like slicker and smoother in terms of animation, which is a nice change. It definitely looks like
more
the epic film. It looks like, oh, here's the film, here's the grand event, which I guess is good. That's what you would want if you're going to go from TV to film.
Yeah.
At the same time, the story is it looks like it's going to have the problem where it doesn't seem like it's epic enough.
Right.
That's what I'm getting. For anyone who might be slightly confused, I've watched most of the whole series of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, so I know what's going on in the series.
I've only seen 2 episodes, and that was like with an ex of mine when like we were having breakfast.
And that's when you broke up. And I think it might be the same issue with the Simpsons movie, where I've seen better episodes.
Yeah.
Which is my worry, because I think from what we can figure out in the film, some random unicorn with a broken horn is like, I'm going to destroy the place.
Yeah.
I've seen that in the series.
Yeah.
And but the problem is it doesn't look like it's going to be too epic, as opposed to some big name stars voicing some characters and sea ponies.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fan stuff there, because people have been demanding that for a while.
Okay.
So I guess people finally get that. But yeah, and also Sia is there as a pony.
Really?
Yeah, Sia, the singer.
That's odd.
Yeah, the pony itself has the hair that she
okay.
has because she can't show her eyes, despite the fact there are plenty of photos of her with her eyes.
And her early music videos.
Yes.
You can see her whole face.
Yeah.
You know, like the hand puppety one.
Yeah, it's just like, I think she kind of had a mental breakdown after Chandelier.
Yeah.
I think she still is having that mental breakdown for the most part.
It's the fame.
Well, to be fair, she's been around for like almost 10 years, so I think it's nice she finally has some fame.
Yeah, exactly.
But just calm down, girl. You're nothing special in terms of style, personality, and of course fashion. I wouldn't even say Lady Gaga would want to bite your style, because Lady Gaga is still lame compared to some other people within the music industry, so try harder. But yeah, Ace, you've been quiet on this most anticipated film of 2017, My Little Pony the movie.
It's not really the thing that appeals to me the most.
What?
Yeah, like...
You what?
As I said, I've only seen 2 episodes, and while they were fine, I've never had the interest of watching the series. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine for like people who like it.
I think it's going to be fantastic for fans.
Yeah, and the only thing I can really say is it... Similar to what you were saying, it sounds like the Star Trek problem, where the movies might not be like as good as the show. Like, a good opinion will be like the first Star Trek motion picture film.
Yeah.
It feels like a full-length episode, just a normal kind of adventure they do. And there are some episodes that are better.
Yeah.
But then when they try to do something so over the top, like, you know, epic, it comes off as really shit. So... yeah, it sounds kind of like that problem.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be the case of, let's say, it being terrible, but I don't know how good this film is going to be. But I think it might just be the case of, hey, that was good, but not as epic as that episode or this episode. Because there have been some suspiciously very epic episodes of the series, which are very baffling. And I would, if anyone is interested in seeing just how over the top and how... weirdly well done the series can get, because it is weird how good this show is for the most part, and it is very bizarre how the series just goes, right, time to be epic,
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what I'm hoping this film is. It kind of just goes to that most extreme and just goes, wow, we got some stuff for you. You're gonna see explosions, and you know, crazy stuff. You're gonna see I'm gonna transform into a monster, and that, you know, something along those lines. I'm not spoiling the series, but like crazy stuff will hopefully happen in this series. But I think it should be one for the fans, and the main reason I wanted to talk about it, other than the fact that it surprisingly looks enjoyable as opposed to being terrible, is the fact that this looks like it could be one of the best animated Western films coming out this year compared to everything else that's come out this year. Because oh my goodness, I've already talked about this piss poor year for Western animation.
It's been very lackluster. Like the only other one that some people have said is good, that didn't appeal to me because of the trailer and the problems I saw in the trailer being Captain Underpants. Like a few people have actually been saying it's good, but
I've heard it's alright. But I'm not interested in it because of the head of the DreamWorks being snaky about his business practice, so I've no interest in seeing it because of that.
And Boss Baby, like, what?
Worst film of 2017, yes?
No, trust me, I've seen worse.
One of the worst, I would say.
Possibly one of the worst.
When my mum comes out of that film going, that wasn't good, I didn't get it, you know you messed up.
Damn, that's... like, it's literally that episode of Family Guy where Stewie's trying to make a group from all the preschool kids.
You mean all of Family Guy?
Yeah.
Basically someone watched Family Guy and went, that could be a film. I have original ideas.
That was basically it.
Yeah. And nor are we saying the idea of a talking baby is Family Guy's original exclusive idea, because no.
Yeah.
Simply put. I mean, there's an episode... I mean, the freaking... cinema exclusive short they did of The Simpsons was pretty much that to an extent. So,
and the classic film series Baby Geniuses, they did
of course, yes, a real pioneer.
I can't even take that seriously.
For filmmakers alike.
Yeah.
I mean, when David Lynch is talking to film students, he always puts on a copy of Baby Geniuses.
It's so genius, it makes the audience feel like babies.
Oh, that's what they should put on the box.
Alright, we need to find out.
So good it would take you back to your diapers.
We need to find out
in more ways than one.
Yeah. We need to find out who distributes this and tell them that we've got $1 million idea.
I've got $1 million idea. Don't worry, you can trust me, I work for Marvel.
Yeah. And Sony.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm the head of Sony's marketing. I've never failed. Oh gosh. Oh man, that kind of ties in perfectly. Segue. Speaking of marketing, we're going to talk about an old favorite on this podcast. So newer fans of this podcast know one such service we like to rip on is Tidal, the music streaming platform that was for the musicians by the musicians, which has a very infamously funny kind of trailer in which you have all these somewhat famous artists kind of talking about how great Tidal is, how it's the second coming of Jesus Christ and all that kind of stuff. And ever since its inception, things haven't been so great for such a braggadocious streaming service to come out and challenge Spotify, a service which has undeniably revolutionized the way people consume music and the music industry as a whole.
Yeah.
So understandably, it would be quite hard, and also it is kind of surprising to some extent that with Goliaths such as Jay-Z, Kanye West, Beyonce, Daft Punk, and the guy from Coldplay, that no one gives a damn about this service for the most part, and a lot of dumb things have happened. I think the last time we talked about Tidal was regarding Kanye West's newest album, The Life of Pablo, and how he had a mental breakdown saying how it would never ever be on any other platform other than Tidal, and then immediately revoking those quotes to put it on every other platform.
And if anyone's been a long time watcher, you'll know I love this.
Yeah.
I love the Tidal saga.
It's infamous.
It's amazing.
That one day there'll probably be a compilation of Ferret and Raccoon talk about Tidal or something like that.
That'd be great.
We'll see, maybe.
So, I think the first thing we need to talk about this is Jay-Z inflating the numbers on the subscribers.
Yeah,
Because I think it was during 2015.
Yeah.
He put on Twitter, it's like, oh my god, Tidal got 1 million subscribers. And the actual numbers was 350,000.
It's not great. It's still under 1 million.
Yeah,
which is
it's not even 500,000.
really bad. I mean, a part of the problem is the fact that you're not offering anything that your three other competitors, maybe two, you can, I don't know, I can't remember who the third one is, so scratch that. Let's say iTunes Music and Spotify. Let's use those two as examples. You're not offering anything new other than Kanye West dropped a new album that's, oh, guess what, it's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion.
Like, Spotify is free, and then you've got some adverts, so you can pay, and you get a few skips during the day.
I'm not going to pay £150 a year to hear one new album.
Exactly. It's a terrible streaming-like service.
Yeah.
People going onto Netflix. Netflix has a lot of originals, so you pay for that service, but it has so many other stuff as well.
It has a back catalogue that is
it
randomly selected and it's different. So in theory, you could watch everything in 1 month if you wanted to, and then, oh, guess what, next month here's some new stuff.
Yeah. You get like 30, 40 new stuff each month, and it's a really good service.
Yeah.
Tidal, you just got exclusives and that's it, and they come out very rarely, as far as I'm aware. It's a horrible service.
Yeah, I can't think of too many actual exclusives that have come from Tidal other than music videos for the most part, and Kanye West just being a dick. And
then people just find ways to put it online anyway, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not given with everything, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, so the main like, story is the fact that is Jay-Z released his new album, 444, or 4.44, or however the hell it's supposed to be said, exclusive to the streaming service, and you could one thing that was kind of interesting, which kind of pissed off a lot of people, was you couldn't just today of all days just sign up for it and get it. You had to have been subscribed for a long time. So this pissed off a lot of people because it was like, why are you doing this? You finally got people interested in your album, and now people can't even listen to it. They changed that. But at the same time, the weird thing that's already happened is, as it being out of a couple days, it's already about to go platinum according to the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA. As it's kind of, as I really don't kind of understand how they translate it to being a platinum. So I'm gonna have to kind of like look over to my screen and double check the way they're kind of presenting it for the most part. So sorry if I sound kind of weird and out of whack, but it's something like the equivalent of about 10 tracks from an album being downloaded, and about, I think it's like 1,500 streams can equivalent to about one album's purchase or something along those lines. It's kind of hard to understand. I really don't care about these kinds of stuff, so
it's all technical stuff.
It's all technical rubbish for the most part. And so apparently it's already on its way to becoming a platinum album under those slightly new and changed guidelines under their situations. But the main strange thing is that, as we've already said, Tidal is under 1 million subscribers.
Yeah. Apparently the most recent is that has 150,000 subscribers, but 1.2 million activated accounts.
Yeah.
So...
you don't have to be very good at maths to figure out that doesn't quite add up, because that would mean that every single person would have had to have listened to the album and bought it in some kind of sense of a rough kind of like 3 to 5 times, and that's implying that everyone cares about Jay-Z's album.
Yeah.
But the rabbit hole goes slightly deeper, because it turns out that in kind of partnership with this whole promotion of Jay-Z's new album, the company Sprint were offering free download links of the albums. So essentially Sprint bought a ton of album copies of Jay-Z's new album and essentially gave them to people for free in order to boost his numbers, in order for him to get that platinum.
Yep.
Some real shady stuff right there. It's a real dirty one.
Apparently, like, the same thing's happening with his Magna Carta Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Where he sold 1 million copies, like, digital to Samsung.
Yes.
So offering it to users for free as an app.
Yeah, I mean, Jay-Z is considered one of the most famous rappers of all time. He shouldn't need to do this.
No, he shouldn't.
His album will sell.
Yeah.
It will sell. I mean, granted, Magna Carta Holy Grail was shit.
Yeah.
But, and from what I've heard from 444... no.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't need to do this. I don't know what is going on. He's probably maybe got a bit of an ego complex. Maybe he's upset that Beyonce is making better albums than him.
Possibly.
Because Lemonade was a great album. But, yeah, it's probably the same with Kanye West. He got really upset when critics didn't like his album, proclaiming that white people won't understand his album and should not be reviewing his album. Because guess what? According to Kanye West, only black people can like rap music.
Yeah, apparently so.
Sorry, white people, you just don't understand it. Go away.
I think I need to stop listening to Childish Gambino, Tyler Creator, and Danny Brown now.
Yeah, because you're not... Because, I mean... Let's just use this for being white. You won't understand it.
Yeah. So I've got to get
Therefore,
rid of those.
stop right now.
Yeah.
Don't even try.
Yeah.
Don't try to culture yourself and don't like what you like.
Exactly.
Simply put, because an idiot said so. You're just upset that no one liked Life of Pablo.
He's white, being a shit.
Guess what, Kanye? Life of Pablo was shit.
Yeah, it was.
You haven't made a good album in 7 years.
Yeah.
Your response to people not liking your new stuff was the song We Want the Old Kanye, which is arguably, which is interestingly enough, the best song on the album.
Yeah.
Do you not see the issue?
People were relating to that song for a reason, mate.
Yeah, people said we want the old Kanye because they want the old Kanye back.
Exactly.
You made 4 pretty good albums that are on their way to maybe becoming classics, and you're doing this rubbish. Let's not even get started on the album Yeezus.
Oh.
An album so bad, I listened to it once and then destroyed it. I didn't sell it, I destroyed it.
Wow.
Because it was that bad. I didn't want it in my house.
You just threw it outside and then walked over to it with a baseball bat.
I know it got crushed.
Okay.
That's as much as I can remember. But yeah, it's just, this whole situation is just so bizarre. Almost everything to do with Tidal is just so shady for the most part. And I mean, if you tried a little harder, I'm sure you can get fans, but... And you and all these other, especially Jay-Z and Kanye West, because they seem to be the ringleaders of the whole situation. Yeah. They seem to be the ones who start the most. Especially when you have Kanye West and Jay-Z going on tours and making rants about all this other rubbish and all that kind of stuff. Just jealousy rants for the most part. And even now, Kanye West has left Tidal because he's probably like, well, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Apparently, because Life of Pablo brought in so many people to Tidal, he was supposed to get bonus pay, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why he's leaving.
What happened to It's All About the Musician?
Exactly. Yeah.
There is an ongoing situation regarding how bands and artists are treated regarding these services, and you guys are not helping the situation at all with all this silliness.
Just keep reading their motto back to them.
Exactly. Keep watching that video because it's great. It's so great, but I mean, it's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's probably not the last we've heard of Tidal, or maybe it is because they only seem to release 1 exclusive album a year.
Well, we might still hear something later on. There might be a second one. Hooray for the Tidal users.
From who? Second what?
Don't know.
Album?
Jay-Z will release another album. He'll be as interested in it as he was in this one.
Yeah, he does not sound very interested in this new one. Which is a shame. The best thing to come of this 444 album is the music video for The Life of OJ, which has some pretty nice animation to it.
Yeah.
Which is worth you can mute the song and just put your favourite rappers, the lyrics over that and just watch it. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
It takes on a whole new... experience when you put some Danny Brown over that track.
Yeah, exactly.
Put on some of that, The Hybrid Theory, his first album. Oh, Lord. Oh, boy. But yeah, it's so baffling. I mean, music, especially rap music, is in such a strong position right now where you actually have almost everyone listening to it.
Yeah. It's become immensely popular.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, if people are finding music they enjoy, I'm not going to complain about that, simply put. I mean, it's great. It's nice to hear. I mean, granted, some other genres are suffering, but hey, guess what? Get good. But
there's always waves.
I mean, rock has taken one of the most messy, crazy kind of tailspins in all of music history for the most part. Surprised it's still around.
I'd say disco took the messiest.
Well, keep in mind, disco's not around anymore.
Exactly.
Rock
is it's still there.
But it's still just kind of like, you have people just kind of rubbing their hands going, when's it going to die? It's going to die soon. When's it going to die? I mean, it has to die now. Now it's going to die. And I mean, it just never does.
Exactly.
Which is, I guess, good. But that's accountable to the people. I would say that's accountable to the bands that are not in the top 40.
Yeah.
Simply put. Kings of Leon, get out of here.
Yeah.
Simply put.
When did they release good songs? I think there was one good song.
That is debatable.
I can't remember.
I stopped caring about Kings of Leon after the Sex on Fire album cover.
Oh yeah.
Not the song.
Yeah.
The album cover.
I think there was a song on the album before that, and it was pretty good. But I can't remember.
That was the hype song.
Yeah.
Gosh. Kings of Leon, the DC cinematic universe of the music industry. Can't take a joke. Can't take anyone's opinion.
Yeah.
Guess what, guys? Your music's shit.
You just gotta hear a bunch of people say, what do you mean? I saw Kings of Leon yesterday.
The problem is Kings of Leon would 100% find this podcast and say you're wrong, and they'd probably try and sue this podcast because they're that fucking petty. But yeah, let's move on to our discussion, which is gonna move away from film finally for a little bit, and we're gonna talk about TV series-ish, kind of. So I thought it'd be kind of fun if we kind of played the producer role once again, and we kind of decided to ask the question, if you could bring back any TV series, what would it be? And I'm only going to pick one.
Yeah.
The main criteria is kind of that it has to be a show that is at least ended or finished, not been on TV for about 5 years at least.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of at least throw in, you got to kind of say why it needs to come back, why it deserves to come back, and you kind of got to add some kind of improvement to it, even if you consider the show to be perfect.
Okay.
So, you want to go first, or should I? Or you can go okay, go on then.
I'm going to start with a minor preamble of something that I wouldn't for a good reason.
Okay.
Firefly.
Okay.
I love that show, but it's been far too long. The actors are too old, and if they tried to reboot it, it'd feel wrong.
Yeah.
There's so much character, so that's why I'm not picking Firefly.
Besides, it's just a rumor magnet. I mean, it gets you. I mean, we could call this podcast Firefly comes back and we get a million
Firefly
views.
confirmed.
Yeah, exactly. We get a million views right there and then. Yeah.
But what I am going to say is The Spectacular Spider-Man. I love this animated series.
Why did I not see this coming?
It ended in 2009. It was cancelled after 2 series. And this was around the same time that Disney was buying Marvel. And then Disney implemented their really shit Ultimate Spider-Man series, which I have to mention. You
and Ferret need to do a review on that series. Because you two both hate that series.
It's fucking terrible. We will. We definitely should.
I don't know if I've said this on air, but literally watching that show with Ferret is so funny because he just sits there and squirms and he gets so annoyed every time Peter Parker opens his mouth.
Oh yeah, isn't it Josh from Drake and Josh?
I don't know which. Yeah. I'm not sure who voices that one.
One of them.
But every time he says something, Ferret literally goes, "Oh, dumbass! What the hell? Why would you do that?" Yeah. Literally, that is watching that series with Ferret.
I think we need to do that video.
It's a plan. It's in the works.
But Spectacular Spider-Man is probably one of the best Spider-Man things ever. It is so good at its own internal story, and it bases it off the comics, and it tells the stories from the comics so well. The characters are lovable, every single one. Even the kind of bully characters, because the social dynamic of the high school is great.
Because the thing I liked about this one as well was it kind of just focused on Peter Parker's life. It wasn't, we're going to put together a super team. Yeah. No, I want to watch a show about Spider-Man.
Exactly.
That's the one thing I think a lot of people get wrong with Spider-Man for the most part is they kind of go, oh yeah, it's all about the villains. Yeah. It's no, it's about Spider-Man. Exactly. It's about this kid as a superhero's life.
It's like a teen comedy with superheroes.
In my opinion, Sam Raimi was the one who got it closest for the most part. Yeah. He's the one who got it closest. All the other ones have been a bit muddled, but none of them have really focused on that. But he's the one who got it the closest. That's why the beginning of the first Spider-Man is perfect for the most part. Everything to do with him getting his powers, the interacting with Mary Jane, the implied characters that never get dealt with later on in the series. That is why it kind of works. That blew every 8-year-old or 10-year-old's mind when they saw that film.
But and obviously it was cancelled off its second series, and the showrunner said he wanted it 65 episodes, which would be 5 series. Mm-hmm. And he had kind of had plans, not completely planned down, just minor ones. Yeah. Of what characters to bring in. Mm-hmm. And I want that brought back, do the 3 seasons, but I wouldn't just use because they've used a lot of the known villains, a lot of the well-established, Venom, Green Goblin, Vulture, them lot, all of them. I think they should bring in some of the joke villains.
Like White Rabbit?
White Rabbit, Big Will, Walrus, Frogman.
Shocker.
Shocker's in there.
Oh, but he's the perfect joke character, though.
They actually made him really good in this.
Oh, okay.
Because they had the character of Montana from the Enforcers become Shocker.
Okay,
which it worked.
All
it
right.
gave him personality.
Okay.
But focus on, some of them and actually do it as joke villains. So it makes sense in that, we're trying to be big villains too.
Because with most of his joke characters, Spider-Man just kind of like face palms and goes, oh my god, really?
Like, literally, when he first fought the Walrus, there's an iconic image of him facepalming and laughing.
Yeah.
And the Walrus being confused.
It's the same thing with the White Rabbit.
Yeah.
She's like the only Spider-Man villain he's never defeated because he was too embarrassed to fight her.
Yeah, exactly.
He was literally like, I'm not going to fight her because that's just stupid.
Yeah. And then also introduce some of them, like, newer characters, because obviously those were invented after the show ended. So, like, Mr. Negative, who's been in the video game.
The PS4 video game simply titled Spider-Man.
Yeah. Introducing those. That's the only things I think I can add to the series, because it was basically perfect.
So I think it's a natural progression for the most part, simply put. We need more shows like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Spectacular Spider-Man.
Spectacular Spider-Man, excuse me. That's why it's also very good that we're getting Young Justice coming back as well, and I think we definitely need to have a good Teen Titans series as well. And that's why that was the push. I had the push for a animated or a TV series of Runaways, because I think that could work if they don't just make it 90210.
Yeah.
Which, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
trailer is still not out.
Yeah.
So we shall see. The cast looks strong.
Yeah, the promo image looks well.
Looks good, but look. Let's stay tuned for the podcast. But I think with shows like that, you kind of need it, because I think it is important. Because the one thing that was great about the series is it wasn't just, here's a boy show about Spider-Man. Yeah. Here's a show about Spider-Man for everyone. That's why it worked.
And he even had his dickish moments. It was like, his relationship stuff, and it's like, shit.
Because at the end of the day, he's a kid.
I know. It works so well.
It works so well, and it's great for kids. I mean, the only other show that I think even kind of did well in trying to get that across was Ben 10.
Yeah.
Which is a show that I think is perfect for boys.
Definitely.
Simply put. And, because it's, other than being like the ultimate male fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I go watch you turn the alien superpower, because that's like every boy's dream.
I can have 4 arms.
Oh my god, look, I'm a giant. I run really fast.
Now I'm a little brain.
Now I shoot fire. Now I'm a ghost. I can possess people.
And I'm a wolf.
Now I'm a wolf. Now I'm running the future as alien people, and I'm the strongest guy in the world. That's basically Ben 10, guys.
Ben 10 million now.
Oh no, here's my villain, Kevin 11. Oh no.
I loved
Kevin 11.
That was great.
Oh man.
He was literally the absorbing man.
I never put down a series so fast and picked it up in my life after I heard Kevin 11. I stopped that episode and then I came back to it like 30 minutes later once I heard Kevin 11. I was like, yes.
Need it.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Man of action. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the guy who created Ben, in case you're wondering. But yeah, strong series. Series, but I think that's a perfect choice. Now, the series I'm going to bring back is definitely a very controversial one, and that's going to be The Big Bang Theory. Ever since it ended... No, I'm joking.
I was about to say, this is going to be an interesting 10-minute on why it's so good.
But my one is very interesting, and because I don't think anyone's seen it coming. The one I bring back is MTV Cribs.
Oh, okay.
Yes, MTV Cribs, a series that's not been on the air for so long. So if anyone who is under the age of 10, you probably don't know what MTV Cribs is, or you probably don't know what MTV is.
Yeah.
MTV Cribs is essentially a TV series where they took a camera crew to essentially look around famous people's houses, and that was the whole show. Simply put. Now, why, Raccoon, would you want to bring back this series back? And that is simply because so much has changed. There are so many famous people who are no longer famous.
Yeah.
There are so many famous people who are so terrible.
Yeah.
I would just love to see how shallow and vague and just how real they are once they talk about all the random useless shit they have in their house.
Yeah.
I think it would be a perfect show to reflect on life over the last 7 years. because there are some really terrible people in this world who do not deserve their fame, and it would just be the icing on the cake to literally look at their mansion and reflect back on your very nice house and go, wow, I'm doing so much better than you.
You know who I really want on that show? And it's going to sound weird at first. Notch.
Yeah,
he's been a real shithill on online, but he's got this mansion and he had a wall of jelly beans, and apparently they've all rotted and he doesn't know how to get them out.
God, that's like...
I know.
That's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Did he watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something?
I think he just really liked jelly beans and he thought they would have been eaten by now.
Ugh,
it was a literal full wall full of different flavoured jelly beans.
At least eat them, dumbass.
I think he didn't eat all, obviously because there were so many.
Invite people round.
I know. Maybe he doesn't have too many friends.
Oh, gosh.
But that would be a great house to go through.
It would be. I think that's definitely a reason you want to bring it back, because even then we've had so many people become celebrities overnight, and especially I'd like to see it focus on one-hit wonder characters and people who think they're more famous than they actually are type characters.
Yeah.
Let me think of a few couples examples. Megan Trainor. I would love to see her possible mention because she thinks she's the most famous thing in the world. Rapper Designer. Granted, I think Designer is a nice dude. Yeah. I think he's a pretty good... I wish him all the best with his career. I think his music's terrible though.
Yeah.
But I would love to see what he would do with his mention because he is just an overexcited kid who likes to rap. So I'd like to see his mention.
Guillermo del Toro's.
Guillermo del Toro, I've already seen Guillermo del Toro, one of his houses, but an extended look on that would be great for the most part. I would love to see the house of... Oh, I'm losing the name. There's too many. I really should have wrote a list, but I didn't want to bore people with a list for the most part.
Fair enough.
The one change I would add to it is I would have some kind of narrator kind of person. I would love there to be almost like a counterpart to it where you have the celebrity showing around the house, but I'd also like to have some possibly like a person who's like, so tell me what this is, or kind of like a real estate person who kind of goes into the house after or before, or kind of goes, oh, well, they've got this and this is, a little bit more in depth, because sometimes there are people who have nice things in their houses. They have nice houses, oh, look, this is a painting of this. They had this person sculpt this, or that's done by this designer. That kind of stuff. I would like to have it be slightly more intellectual, so you could learn something from it.
Yeah.
That would be like the one improvement I would have for it for the most part. But I think it is a show that I would love to just see come back, because I've seen a lot of episodes and there are really good episodes where you see people's houses. I think The Gorillas has the best one because it's 100% animated.
Okay.
Which is something they didn't have to do.
Yeah.
But they completely animated it, which is great. Taylor Swift, I would love to see that shallow bitch's house. That would be so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the one show I would bring back, because everything else I don't care about, honestly. I mean, I think everything else has kind of ended very well. I'm not going to say Freaks and Geeks because everyone is famous enough from that. They've gone and done their own thing. I wouldn't say Invader Zim because that's probably coming back.
Yeah.
Everything else, unless I'm forgetting something, doesn't really need to come back for the most part. I think it's either been too long or it's just not necessary. But MTV Cribs is a show that I think can be on TV forever for the most part.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, the main inspiration for this was the fact that so many shows have come back of recently. Just in England alone, within the last, I would say 2 weeks, we've had the British classic Crystal Maze come back.
Oh, yeah.
As well as, maybe not as, might be more well-known internationally, Blind Date as well has come back as well.
Also, apparently Raven's coming back.
The
game show.
The children's television series, Raven, if anyone's ever watched that. You can watch episodes on YouTube if you want to verse, because that is a very entertaining show, even as a 20-year-old.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's coming back, and a lot of people are hoping that any age can be on it, which would be interesting.
That would be great. I'd like to see Jungle Run come back, which is another children's TV series.
As a kid, the apes actually terrify me because I was so confused.
Because I don't like apes, that's
exactly.
the problem.
They were creepy.
Well, go watch Jungle Run. Just type an episode of Jungle Run on YouTube. You'll be able to see it. It's basically very similar to Quest of the Maze of the
Crystal Maze.
Not Crystal Maze. There's another show that's very similar to it in America. Temple Run. It's called Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Okay.
For anyone who's Americans, watch that. It's basically our version of that to some extent.
Yeah. No, as a kid, I was fine with Freddy Krueger. Those apes, They were terrifying. I don't know why.
Sometimes life hits you hard.
Yeah,
That's all I can
exactly.
really say.
Like them throwing coconuts at people.
Yeah, that's a bit vicious.
It was.
What's going on here?
I
I mean, I
nightmare.
will say this. One of the funniest episodes is when they got Olympian medalists to do an episode of Temple Run.
Yeah.
It is the funniest thing ever because they literally walked through every challenge they had.
Yeah.
So when they got to the final challenge, which is where they have to go into a cave to solve puzzles and get the final thingy, they had so much time.
Yeah.
They walked out with one statue and walked back in to get others.
That's amazing.
They walked it all. And it's the funniest thing in the whole series I saw.
That's great.
But yes, that's just a little trip on nostalgia for the most part. If you guys actually have, we need to hear if anyone else would bring back any TV series. I mean, you can always let us know in the comment section of this video link of the podcast. We can also email us at raccoonplusfriends.gmail.com, which would be awesome because we would really like to have a question and answer section that we can do very quickly at the end of the podcast. But we'll have to wait and we'll have to let an audience grow and actually talk to us for the most part. But it's fine if you just want to listen.
Yeah.
It's fine that way. But we'd like to hear some of your shows you'd like to bring back. I know some people are going to say some stupid things, but we'll see.
I want my Big Bang Theory back.
No. That show is never coming off TV.
Well, you know they're doing like a prequel series about Sheldon.
Does anyone even like that character?
I'm sure the actor does because he gets paid.
No, but seriously, does anyone actually like that sexist character?
I don't know.
I don't try and say, he's allowed to be sexist because he has thingies. No.
Nah.
Even people with mental issues need to be taught that you shouldn't do something sometimes.
Yeah. Be polite.
Yeah.
Have manners.
Anyone who's still watching Big Bang Theory, tone it down.
Well, there's two reasons to watch it. The Sheldon guy's girlfriend, who I can never remember the name of, and the other guy's girlfriend, the blonde one.
Who I can never remember the name of.
Yeah, but those two, good to watch it for. Because
it's not enough, just get a pin-up poster.
But you don't hear them talk.
You'd save more money.
The girl's voice is so good. You just need to hear it.
I don't know about her voice being that good. I'd say I'd like her look better than her voice, but you know.
Look, like the costume design, the voice, everything perfect. 10 out of 10.
Because those characters, the female counterparts, were designed as literally just female counterparts to the main characters. It's one of the laziest things you can do in all of writing.
But they're better than them. That's the funny part.
And that's the problem you have with a lot of series. Is I remember there was a show which I want to go back to because I think it's just the funniest thing ever. Where there was a very cheaply made Flash kind of made time travel story about these like three kids who went back in time.
Yeah.
And then they introduced the female counterparts to them, which I think were from an alternate timeline or something like that. But they were way more interesting than those characters, even to the point where they had episodes just focusing on those girl characters.
Wow.
Because they were way more interesting because they were competent at time traveling.
That's amazing.
They went time traveling when they wanted to stop a bad guy or do something or learn something. But the other kids were like, oh shit, we went back in time. It's Victorian times. I'm about to fucking die. You know, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Look forward to my review on that series if I can ever remember the name of it. But fun times thinking about before things went to shit.
Yeah. Back when everything seemed so innocent.
Between like 1999 and 2003, everything somewhat was to some extent, and you get those kinds of periods. Like right now, we're living in one of those rough periods from 2015 to whoever knows whenever they decide Britics was a bad idea, was a pretty rough time.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I mean, 2020, because that's when President 45 will no longer be President 45. Let's just say we can say that because I don't think anything really good will come of that. But
bring on President 46.
Yeah, bring on President 46. Bring on podcast 67, which is going to be our next podcast because this one's over right now. Yeah. Oh boy, we had some fun.
A lot of fun.
Video of the episode. I almost forgot. And we're going to hit you up with that Radiohead real quick. And that's going to be Radiohead Man of War. Now, this is a song which was cut from the original OK Computer album, which is regarded as one of their most classic albums of all time. Really surprised they didn't release this album. Track, because sounds very polished, sounds very grand, sounds very good. Got a fantastic music video. Really just very strong. So we want to leave you with that music video. There were a ton of music videos we could have left you with, and I don't really like piling them up so they get old. So I kind of had to pick one. We're going to use Tyler the Creator's new one, but slightly a bit more morbid for some people. And what was the other music video? And Jay-Z's one, we were going to pick that one, but we didn't want to seem as though that was kind of weird promotion to some extent. But go watch those if you have the time. But yes, the dog's getting up. Oh no, he's just readjusting himself. But I was half expecting a bark, so I was kind of ready to start talking over it. But yeah, anything else you'd like to add to this podcast before we wrap this up?
Everything. Mentioned everything.
Yeah, I think so too and all. I got one thing to mention. Expect a ton of reviews before the next podcast. We've got at least 2, maybe a third. Obviously, as some of you may know, I have my quick review. I brought them back for on the Red Turtle. They're now scaled back because YouTube doesn't like me having visual imagery in my videos. Yeah. So get ready for a 2-minute listen if you want to know about possibly one of the best animated films of this year that didn't come out this year. Yeah. So, because that's, I mean, as much as we, and I'm sure you guys are looking forward to the best and the worst of 2017, expect a lot of things on those lists to not be from 2017.
Yeah, all 2016s that were delayed for us.
Yeah, because it says a lot about 2017 sometimes.
Yeah.
But whatever. So expect some reviews of the best summer films.
Yeah.
Of 2017, I think, hands down. We've already mentioned one. We've specifically said quiet about one of them.
Yeah.
But you guys will have to listen to the review of that when they go up. But I guess if that's it, I'll end this podcast like I always do by saying I am the Angry Raccoon.
I am Ace.
And we will see you on the next podcast.
Auf Dewey-san.
All right. Laters, guys. Going on this room for the most part.
Oh my god.
Not in that turn, because I won't be able to tell.
That was literally my notes for Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. That's the only note I have and all I need.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean...
We'll talk about
yeah.